Hey there, boys and girls of the YouTube world. Today the Duff Dog and I are going to see if we can't get some old Pontiac running. I think it's a Tempest. It's kind of like a Chevelle. It's a four-door. Our buddy Stupak, he's kind of the local, not really a scrap guy. He's a derby guy, does some scrapping. But when he gets some stuff in that he knows we might be interested in, he hits us up. So we bought this one a while back. He's just finally getting time to deliver it because I don't have time to pick it up because we're just trying to keep the shop afloat. So let's go unload it and see if we can bring this thing back to life and figure out what it is. Here we go. That's Stupak. He's a good kid. Going to pick up a Grand Am for scrap or something. Who knows? So it was nice of him to deliver it. I don't know what year is this thing, Duff. 68 to 72, I'm guessing. We could probably figure it out. Probably a VIN number or something. 2J or 237. So I'm guessing she's, well, then there's a 0 in there. I don't know, Duff. And this would tell us, but it's all oversprayed and such. She's a 4-door hardtop. It's an automatic car. It's missing the back seat. AM radio. Air. Kind of looks like it might. No air. Oh, it does have AC. I don't know if these plates were on it. They say 07. I feel like this is not 07. Looks like they gutted the interior door panels. Like I said, Stupak is a derby car guy. He got this from another derby car guy who was liquidating everything. So I don't know if they were gonna derby it. These are not good derby cars. Looks like it says Catalina back here. It's the old Catalina wine mixer.
It's the Catalina wine mixer. It's the Catalina wine mixer.
She's a PMD, Pontiac Motor Division. I'm guessing those Goodyears are 14s. Yep, 215/75. 2 doors open, so that's more than opened on the 1966 Impala. I think he said the trunk was just full of all of the trim and stuff. Well, now I'm oh, it's a Tempest? No, there's no A in Tempest. I don't know what this thing is. It's a Lemans! It's not a Catalina wine mixer, it's a Lemans. I like this yellow. They had stacked a car on top of it, unfortunately, so the roof kind of got smoked. It was a vinyl top car. You can tell by the way it's rusted out. And I'm guessing the back window blew out because of said rust. Hard to say. That tire might take air. That one might too. The other one over there is off the bead. Said it's got an engine. He said he didn't try real hard, but he said it is stuck. This might tell us a year if we don't scratch it too much. I don't know. We're might have to go on the interwebs and search, see what this thing is. Pontiacs are all basically the same, I believe, 326 through 455 as far as blocks, and I'm not even gonna say that. A lot of stuff interchanges between the Pontiacs. No flexi hose. Somebody took the AC off. It's still got the stuff on the firewall, but the compressor, which would sit right here, is gone. The power steering equipped. Pretty new master cylinder lid. Power brakes. Does it turn over? Yeah, it turns over just fine with a clutch fan. Okay, let's get the old poncho inside. I'm thinking it's a 71 or 2. And address the whole scenario from here. Don't kink the hood any more than it already is. Here we go. Oh, I forgot to ask Duff to open the hood, but he's busy looking for birds in the yard. Aren't you, Duff? Yeah, there's no birds up here. Also, lowered pickups. You can haul things with them. Ask me how I know. Well, we got her in here. No thanks to Duff. Well, it looks like we might have to push her ahead a little bit. Son of a biscuit. Be nice if this thing would steer, or you would steer, and I'll drive the skid steer. That's a problem not having thumbs. All right, I'm gonna have to jockey this thing around a little bit. Get her on the hoist better. So we got this one holding there. Put a hand cook on there. The tire that was on there, she was showing a lot of cords. Well, beyond showing, they had split out. So let's get this thing up in the air, see just how she looks. Also, I'm pretty sure it's a 70 Lemans, because, or is it Lemans? I don't know how you pronounce it. It's French.
Je suis allé voir la fermière parce que je pense faire une demande.
So the reason I think it's a 70 is because of the way that it is, obviously, but 71s and 2s just had a little spear that comes up to about here. They didn't have all this grill, bumper, chrome goodness, so I'm pretty sure this thing is a 70 Le Mans, but I'm sure you guys will correct me if I'm wrong. Of course, we put the hubcap on. We're missing that hubcap back there. These must be some type of mud and snows back here. They got all of the tractions, don't they, Duff? We also got a screw driver in there. We got the trunk open. Nothing much exciting. I think these are the bars that go on the front fenders. You get the bumper jack, tire iron, and then the wing nut for all that, base plate for the jack. There's a whole bunch of these bars here. I thought there was only supposed to be like 3 on each side, but looks like there's 6, 7, 8 of them bars. So maybe there's 4 on each side, or maybe we got spares. Who knows? I did look the color up. I forget what it's called. Sierra yellow, sunset yellow, Bahama yellow, banana yellow, popsicle yellow, sunrise yellow, sunset yellow. I just pulled it up on the old Google. Sierra yellow. So, yeah, it's kind of a... I actually like this color. Butternut, whatever you want to call it, but I dig the oddball colors. We'll just close that back up. I didn't screw up the latch. The tumbler was already broken, right, Duff? You can attest to that. We snuck out yesterday after we brought this in here and we got ourselves a limit of birds. We got our limit of 3 birds the day before. We went out this morning with Pookie and his new dog. We didn't have much luck, did we, Duff? Saw 1 rooster and Pookie missed it. Again, mud and snow, no hubcap on this side. She's got a repaint. She's got a couple of sags, flow checks, if you will, curtains in the paint maybe. Call it what you want. Somebody must have been gonna, I don't know, do something with strip it for a derby car to fix it up, because they took all of the window seals and trim and everything off this thing. Let's get the hood open, see what we got. Also, when I had that wheel off, yeah, it's just 3 bars there. Why the heck do we have 8 in the back? Spare parts. Yeah, they muffed up the hood when they set stuff on top of it. They must have been gonna derby it, and they took all this headlight surround, grill surround. Unfortunate. Mangled the valance pretty good. Let's see what we got going on here. It says 8-cylinder 2-barrel carb, so I don't know what size that is. I'm gonna have to see what they had for options in these things. I did a little research on the internet. There's all kinds of numbers all over these engines. If you want to clean off back by the distributor, which is in the back of the engine, you can get the casting date. But at the front of the engine, up here on the driver's side, there is a number that's stamped in there. Yeah, it's 2 letters actually. YU on this one in this case. YU is, there's several different options, but in an A body in 1970, it's a 255 horse 350 that should have been in front of an automatic transmission, which this is a 70. It's an automatic, so that's right. And then if you clean down, I'll kind of try to show you with the schlong here, down by the timing cover behind the lower radiator hose, there's the, like it's 2P0 yada yada yada. 2 means it's Pontiac. P is the assembly plant, which I can't find an assembly plant. That's the prefix P. And then 0 is the year. And then it's got the last 6 digits of the serial number of this car, which matches the car. So it's numbers matching. So there you go. It's a 350. It's 255 horsepower. I think if you clean off the block below the head on the driver's side, kind of where the power steering pump is, real hard to get at, it should be stamped in there, or cast in the side, rather, 350, or if it was a 400 or 455, yada, yada, yada. So this is a 2-barrel. It's the lower horsepower, 350, clearly. And the same block pretty much is used, it looks like in Pontiacs, from like the 267 or 287 all the way up through the 455. The same, not the same block, but dimensionally. So they'll kind of all interchange from like 55 all the way to 1979. There's some differences in there. Some of them are cast for the starter mounts. Some of them aren't, yada, yada, yada. check with your local dealer first, which they quit making Pontiacs in 2010. Sad day. So right up top there above the water pump, that's the engine VIN number, 0426725. That's not related to the car. That's just the engine VIN number. Below that is the YU. So that is the 2-letter designation of what this engine is, saying how many horsepower it is. You know, if it came with an automatic, manual, how many horsepower, what carburetor, yada, yada, yada. And then back here, behind the radiator hose, that's where we had to stick the schlong in there, and we'll show you that VIN number and such, if I can, with all my so many hands that I have here. I'm gonna slide that right in there.
That's what she said.
And there, can you read that? The last 5 digits of the serial number, 19463. So without a camera, that'd be really hard to read with the engine in the car. And I guess since the Cyclops is underneath the car, let's lift it up, take a look at this thing. I don't know if she's gonna turn over or not. I'm guessing since it had a hood and an air cleaner, we should have good luck. And then again, we had a 1966 Impala with all of such on there that we did not have good luck with last week. So we're gonna do better this time. Our first Pontiac we've had on the channel. So hopefully the poncho treats us right. Come on, old butternut. Let's do this. Let's get her up in the air. Well, let's take a look underneath old butternut here. Still got the AC condenser up front. Dual horns. Oh yeah, nothing but the finest. Fuel pump doesn't even have, oh, that's a return line. I was gonna say it doesn't have a steel line going to the carburetor, but sure enough, it does. I'm not an expert, but I believe this chassis is the same for all A-body GMs, which would be like GTO, you know, Le Mans, Chevelle, Skylark, all that stuff. I'm sure there's a bunch more that I'm forgetting. Like I said, disc brakes, you could get the, or drum brakes, you could get these with the discs. It does have a little baby sway bar on it, not too bad. The oil pan is kissed hard surfaces several times. Looks like somebody was shoving it around with the pallet forks underneath here. Might even kiss the oil pan a little bit. Whoopsies. It does have a freshish oil filter on it. Oh, is that a Delco even? Not bad. It's all caked with grease, so that's good. Looks like the wire for our oil pressure setting unit has been chewed off by Fievel, unfortunately. Single exhaust. It's got a muffler, and you know what? This is probably some of the best exhausts we've had for a while. We just gotta straighten her out a bit and clamp it up. Park brake gables are present. Looks like the mice decided to fill that cross member with their home for winter warmth. I'm guessing, yep, should be a turbo 350. You can tell because the corner is cut off. Otherwise, it's basically a perfect rectangular pan. The 350's got this little corner cut off. I think you could get these cars with a power glide too, but this is the 3-speed option. Yeah, floors look pretty good. Since it doesn't have any carpet in it, you can actually see them. Somebody maybe did some Duke boy things right there with the railroad tracks. Moving on back. The U-joints are tight. There's our exhaust hanger that we would need to fix once we get it running, because you know it's gonna run. It's got coil spring rear differential with trailing arm style suspension. Camaros and Firebirds and stuff, they had leaf springs. These cars had coil rear suspension. That shock is probably original and it's puking its guts out. No big deal. Again, like I said, 10 bolt. You can tell because all you gotta do is count the bottom 5. If these came with a 12 bolt, which I believe you could get them, there would be a 6 bolts on the bottom. 6 times 2 is 12, 5 times 2 is 10. Now you know. We don't have a tag on here to know what ratio it is, but I'm guessing it's like probably a 307, maybe like a 278, something like Skylark's got. Who knows? The lower quarters, pretty rusty. That must have been the seam sealer, which is falling out. Somebody's been tugging on that with the skid steer pulling it around. Whoopsies. Frame is really solid though, actually. Ain't all tweaked up. Not bad at all. I forgot to mention it. This thing, it's the sport model. I don't know what that got you. Probably got you, you know, some fancy vinyl seats instead of cloth. There's our other exhaust hanger we got to fix. You know, if we get that far. Probably going to want to, otherwise backing up that tailpipe's going to go. And that's going to be no bueno. All right, let's put a bar on the front pulley of the crankum shaft, if we can. See if this thing turns over. And if it does, while we're at it, we're gonna snip the fuel line so we don't suck some 1990 fuel up. And we'll see if this thing turns over. Oh man, looks like somebody looped. Are those the tranny cooler lines? Are they? No, those are the tranny cooler lines. What is this line and why are you looped? What do you do? Not a brake line. Goodness, I hope it's not a brake line. Pontiac guys, what is that line? Oh, I bet it's like the breather for the charcoal canister. Did they have that in 1970? I don't know. Oh, it is. Yeah, this is the return for the fuel line. It comes over here, loops to here. And what about a charcoal canister up there somewhere? And then this goes back to the fuel tank. Sure enough, there's the one going back to the fuel tank. And the brake line runs on this side, along with the feed for the fuel line. Right? Right? There's the brake line. And there is the return. Yep. Return runs on this side. Feed runs on that side. Whew. They had me scared for a second. What is looped? You don't really like to see tranny cooler lines looped. That ain't a good thing, you know. I didn't see a hitch on this. They probably weren't doing a lot of towing. All right, let's get that bar. See if we can't get this old 350 poncho to crank over. It's definitely not ideal to use this bolt up here, but hopefully this thing's just loose and turns right over. Problem with this bolt is you can't go left because it's gonna loosen the bolt. And if you got an engine that's really stuck and you tighten this bolt too much, it'll either pull the threads out of the crank, snap the bolt, pull the threads off the bolt, so on and so forth. But let's give it a shot because we're all about doing things the right way. Bolt's turning. Ooh. And that's as hard as I want to crank on that. Sweet. Let's pull the inspection cover off, try turning on the flex plate. That seems much safer. All right, let's see if there's a mouse house. If there isn't, it'll be the second one in a row without one. Didn't pan out very well for us last time. Hey, no mouse house. I mean, that's a plus. Just a lot of greasy oil. Greasy grimy gopher guts. Okay, let's put El Jefe on here. Oh, hey, Pontiac starters are on the driver's side, not the passenger side. The more you know. Come on, 350 crank over. Oh, no. Oh, no. Not two in a row. Cheese and rice. What's your problem? Ugh. Fantastic. Made my entire day. Maybe we should have a sandwich and think about our life decisions and what we're gonna do next. I suppose we should set it on the ground and pull the spark plugs out. Stick the old schlong down the spark plug holes and see what we got going on inside there. Super excited about it. The good news is the spark plugs are relatively easy to access on the driver's side. The bad news is, being an AC car, that AC box kind of blocks off the back spark plug or two on the passenger side. So should be fun. Get them slid out and show you what they look like. And then we'll stick the schlong down the holes of darkness and see what we can come up with. Well, that looks pretty darn acceptable. That one does as well. Well, I got good news and I got bad news. Every single one of these RJ12YC Champion spark plugs looks pretty dang good. Not much rust, not much corrosion, not a bunch of oil buildup on them, which is good. But that's also bad because I don't know why this thing isn't turning over. So let's shoot a little squirrel piss down these cylinder throats. Duff and I are gonna go eat some lunch and then put some more brute strength on when we get back, because that's what we do. We're going with some solder seal gunk liquid wrench super lubricant. It says it loosens rusted and stuck parts, displaces moisture, inhibits corrosion. It's also harmful or fatal if swallowed. Flammable, eye irritant, you know, all the good stuff. Keep away from children. And it was the only thing that I had handy that still had a nozzle on it. Radiator Specialty Company, Charlotte, North Carolina. Use and dispose of product, container, and residue in accordance with all local, state, and federal laws and regulations. Yeah, we'll have to look into that. Here we go. The old liquid wrench is about gone, so we got some Schaefer's Penetro 90 since 1839. It's triple protection against corrosion, and it's high performance. It frees frozen, movable parts, lasts 3 times longer. Whew, I could use that.
Yeah, that's what she said.
And then conventional spray lubricants protects against moisture and corrosion. Also, keep out of reach of children. Schaefer Manufacturing. Barton Street, St. Louis, Mo. All right. California Prop 65. No products found. Whew, good deal. It's not going to cause cancer in California. Oh, I lost my freaking straw. Well, it's a good thing I got spares. All right, let's let the Schaefers and the liquid wrench do their thing. And see if we can't come up with any bright ideas. Monday's rough on you, Duff? Yeah, me too. All right, fuel oil furnace quit. Fuel oil, used oil. Brought another tote in here we need to dump in so we got some heat this winter. But yeah, this thing sat overnight. We spent yesterday chasing pheasants to no avail. But we got our limit on Friday and Saturday, so you can't win them all. And today it's blowing about 48.5 knots, which is the equivalent of 196 mile an hour. So I'm gonna put a bar on this thing and see if sitting overnight, loosen this thing up. And we came up with a name for the crankshaft adapter, the Make It Turn tool, also known as the MIT. This is a 4-bolt design on this pulley. Our small block was a 3-bolt design, so if we got a pry on the front, we're gonna have to make ourselves a new tool. Sorry for the Instagram. Somebody's messaging me, so I'll put my phone on silent and I'm gonna wipe off this camera for you guys. Better? Better. You know what? It's gonna get even better when we pry on this. It's just gonna whoop, turn right over. The old 350 is gonna come alive. All right, here we go with the Hefe tool. El Hefe? Sure. Son of a biscuit. Okay. Guess we're gonna make a Pontiac mitt. So another 45 minutes of work down the drain for about 20 seconds of content. See you in a bit. All right, we got the mitt on here. What do we call this thing? The move it or lose it tool. The make it turn tool. That's what we're calling it. This is Rev 2 or Rev P for Pontiac. I had to cut the center out because the harmonic balancer has a little bump out that comes out. I suppose I could have just made this one piece and then had spacers on the backside, but this is what we come up with. It ain't pretty, but hopefully it works. We got our 84 tooth gear inch, 1/2 inch drive ratchet on here. Let's see what happens. Oh, she's sticky. All right, we're gonna tag team it, Mojo and I. Which way are you going? That way? Ready? Yep. Oh, you going the other way? Ready? Okay. Something clicked, didn't it?
Yeah. Oh!
Ugh.
Let me go get some. Oh,
We're gonna step up our game. All right, good. We're gonna step up the game here. Took a little digger when my end slipped off the flex plate. Don't worry, the concrete broke my fall. Mojo, he's got 6.2 fired up. He's gonna run to town and grab his 3/4 inch ratchet and breaker bar and all that good stuff. So hopefully we can get this thing to budge, because it does not want to go. Does it, Duff? We gotta stop working on this stuck junk, don't we? Yeah, I concur. All right, we'll wait for Mojo to get back. All right, it's 3/4 inch ratchet time. And a chrome socket. Oh boy. Okay, now we're getting the cheater pipe. What'd you do, twist the threads right off? Or the X off? Stripped my bolt out! Dang it. Well, I suppose that was the only socket you brought too. I guess we'll have to grind the nut off here and weld a different one on. I was gonna say we could put a bigger nut on there, but you didn't bring a socket with. Well, here's Rev 2 of the Mitt P. We got her in our Bud 1.5" by 13/16 socket. So we're gonna bolt that on there. Hopefully we got better luck this time. What do you think, Duff? He says it's time for a snack. All right, here we go. 3/4 inch. Oh my goodness. Let's put the cheater on. See, we can't really break something like my face. Yeah! Take that! Ah! Oh yeah! Oh no! I think we sheared the keyway because flex plate's not turning. Dang it! I'll put the mark on the flywheel right there. Can you guys see that? Of course you can. It already turned significantly. Did your end move? But it didn't. Sure enough. Why? This thing hasn't even been sitting that long. Well, we don't know, but 0 for 1 on ponchos. Now I suppose you guys are gonna want me to tear this thing apart just to see how bad it is. Last ditch effort. Well, not I don't know, whatever it is. We stuck the schlong in there and all the cylinders look pretty dang good, except for number 3. Second one back, driver's side. There you can see the cylinder wall, how she's all pitted up, and look at how corroded the top of the piston is. She's had some moisture in there. A lot of moisture. So, I mean, that's gonna need a ring at some point anyway. But I don't know what we're gonna do to get this thing turning over. I mean, we could pull the heads off. I know, you want me to pull the head off. We already sheared that keyway off. And this thing, there just ain't a ton of this car left. It's missing interior, it's missing the back window. We know it's not gonna have brakes. Is it gonna have brakes? Let's check the brakes. Let's see how many miles are on this thing. No brakes. Mileometer, oh my gosh, what does this thing got for a speedometer? Is that like 140? Oh my gosh, it is a 140. 5,274, so she's got 105 on her. No way it's a 5,000 mile car. Yeah, there's some wear on the brake pedal. Definitely 105,000. I don't know if these plates are from this car, but those are 15-year-old plates, 6 of 07. I'm saying they're probably not from this car. I feel like this car's been sitting way longer than 15 years. The old Sport Lemon here. I don't know what to do. I don't know how that much humidity could have just got through the air cleaner, unless our friends were in there. Let's take the air cleaner lid off and see what we can find. Because at this point, we're really just doing an autopsy, right? Hey, there's that screwdriver we were missing. She's got an AF 311 in there. Should have been sealed up. There's a, I don't know if that's even mice matter. That just looks like bees wings from corn. If you don't know what bees wings are, it's the little red stuff that's at the end of a corn kernel. Between the kernel and the cob. It gets all over during harvest. So yeah, the carb, oh, she's even kind of loose. Son of a biscuit. Well, we might as well pull the valve cover off and see what it looks like under there. And then pull an intake and a head, and yeah. We don't have any Pontiac parts around, so this should be interesting. I just about quit on you there, just about quit. But let's get out the left-handed wrenches and start ripping everything apart. Silly schlong. Don't know nothing about these ponchos, so here goes nothing. That's a beauty working on stuff like this, you know. It's already trash, so you might as well learn from it. Even if what you learn is don't be an idiot and buy cars from the scrap guy that are in the scrap pile for a reason. Everything looks good in here. I mean, there's a little bit of furriness going on the push rods, but nothing crazy. These don't have a rocker shaft going through them, so we don't have to, if we were to free it up, we wouldn't have to worry about the rockers getting stuck on that shaft and bending push rods like we see on the 390s and Y blocks and such. I guess we continue ripping deeper. That manifold looks like it would be absolutely terrible to take off, so we're gonna try to leave it with the head, I guess. Oh, I am thoroughly regretting my decision to tear into this thing. These just do not look like fun to work on. Well, somebody's had the carb linkage off. That does not look like a standard washer and cotter key, but maybe that's where they were working on it last, and that's why it doesn't turn over. Is that why? I don't know. Coil wires kinked off. Yeah, definitely wouldn't have ran anyway. Son of a biscuit. Okay. We're doing it for you folks. All right, admittedly, I am a GM guy, at least when it comes to overhead valves, you know, 235, 6 cylinders. I don't know much about the 230, 250, 292s, but 235 Chevy 6s. I've had a ton of those things over the years, great engines, small block Chevys, even a couple big blocks. But those things are just easy to work on, and we're not even horsepower cost, none of that, just ease of maintenance and ease of just changing a cam, changing a alternator. On this thing, for example. So this is the alternator bolt that goes through the alternator, and you got to take 3 bolts loose on the power steering bracket to get that bolt out, just to get the alternator off of this thing. Power steering pump, kind of the same deal. It's got this big ugly aluminum bracket behind it. It is what it is. And then this has a valley pan, so you don't see the rocker, or not the rocker arms, but the lifter valley and all that. It's got this tin cover over it. So I don't know what the advantage or disadvantage of that is. One advantage is when you pull the intake off, you don't have to pull the distributor out, so you don't have to readjust your timing. But the thing that I don't like is instead of having a hose between the water pump and the intake, because it's a wet intake, they got this, I don't know what it is, a cast piece of something or other. But anyway, when I was taking the intake off, you gotta, take all the bolts loose and you gotta pry it back a hair. I don't know, that piece busted off, so just not ideal. That's a couple of things I noticed. The alternator was, a 15-minute job is 45 minutes on this thing. And then that intake, I don't know why they didn't have a chunk of rubber hose or just a piece of flexi hose. Just kidding, not flexi hose. Formed hose would be ideal. And then the water pump is kind of like an insert drop-in water pump. So you got freaking 18 bolts to leak and a huge gasket instead of just having 2 little gaskets, little tiny one on each side and 4 bolts. The fuel line, instead of just being at the front where you can get it easy, is down underneath. So, thankfully we got this hoist. So we lifted her up in the air and got that. So that was kind of a pain. But yeah, and then like the exhaust manifolds, the instead of sitting vertical, the bolts being horizontal, they're down at an angle. So, I mean, they're just going to be a bugger to get at. So, what we're going to do? We're just going to cut the freaking exhaust pipe and try to get the manifold to come with it. But I don't know if the manifold's even going to sneak by the steering. The bolts are way down here. Where are they? There's one. I'm guessing there's got to be one on the bottom side. I don't know. And then I think these Pontiacs, instead of being 4 ports, there's 1 on each end, so 2, and in the center there's a big rectangular one. So, they kind of look like a V6. But anyway, rant over on the serviceability of the 350 Pontiac engine. So, yeah, I think we're going to go underneath, cut that exhaust pipe, and start pulling some head bolts. Yeah. I might get this thing apart yet tonight. It's late. Duff is taking a nap in the back in his new favorite napping spot. So let's get after it. Oh, I did find something pleasant. The exhaust manifolds on these things have 2 bolts holding the exhaust pipe to the flange, and they're really easy to get at, 3/8 bolts. So we snapped one off and ran the other one out. If this thing should feel like it's going to breathe life again, we can always tap it out when we've got it off, the head off. And also, the donut is cast into part of the manifold, so that's cool. No donuts to burn out. So I'm starting to like these Pontiacs a little bit more. All right, let's get this head off and see how much I like it at that point. Oh, we're so close. That back head bolt on the driver's side, well, obviously the only side we're pulling the head off. There's like no clearance to get at it between the steering shaft, so I had to use a ratchet and get her angled, with your tongue held just right and such. Frick. But now, the starter wires, battery cable, all that, goes through the exhaust manifold. So we gotta lift it up in the air and take all those wires off. I could just cut them, but since this thing's gonna run again, it's gonna be back on the road. We don't want to hack up a wire harness because it's just not what we do here. Just hack things up. No, I'm mad at Pontiacs again. Silly lemon. Ugh, take that. This thing's really making me sour, if you know what I mean. You know us, and you know how much we like starters, so. They just don't give you any access to the wires on these Pontiacs, so we took the starter right off. And it's also had the most shims that I've ever seen on something that was actually maybe running at one point. 3 ginormous thick shims. So. All right, let's set her on the ground and see if we can't finally get that head off. Finally. Let's do this. Well, here goes nothing. The other thing is it gonna sneak by the steering shaft? Only one way to find out. Okay. Let's get it out of there. At least I got a fancy dancy wire condom, you know, to keep it from too much heat around the manifold. You always want to protect them wires. Come on now. Work with me. Oh, yeah. That's my back. Phew. Probably should have drained the coolant first. Next time. Let's take a look at the cylinder head first. This is what I believe we're calling cylinder number 3. The culprit. She's pretty rusty in there. But also, one was pretty rusted up as well. This is how they should look. You know, a little rust in there from sitting, but these two are real rusty. Good news is the valves ain't stuck and they're not snapped off. So, I mean, that's better than a 66 Impala 283. Oh, yep, there's the issue. I got lazy and didn't drain the coolant, and not only made a mess on my floor, but said coolant is now in the cylinder, so you can't really see how bad they are. So I'm gonna suck that out of there, and I think we'll see just how bad it is once we get out of there. That piston looked pretty pitted up. That one looks good. That one don't look bad. There's a little bit of schmoo down there in the bottom. I don't know what that is. Carbon, maybe? Let's get them sucked out of there. You can see right when I took a little bit of the coolant off the top, just how corroded it was, but the vacuum sucked up a lot of that corrosion. But look at that rust in there. Yeah, there's been a lot of water in that cylinder. And you see at the very front of that piston, there's a nick in the front of it. Well, maybe they all kind of got that little nick. Okay, maybe that's a forward-facing mark for Pontiac, but you can see how rusty it is. So let's find something to dump in that cylinder and let her sit overnight, because it is time to shut her down. It is getting into the wee hours of the evening. So we'll do the old soak thing. The bad news is it's at the bottom of the stroke, so you can't really hit it with a wood block and expect it to go down any further, because it's pretty much all the way down. So you might have to use heat, and then pry on the flywheel, flex plate, ring gear. Yeah, what have we got ourselves into with said Pontiac? It's all great, grand, wonderful.
Good, great, grand, wonderful.
Okay, I'm gonna go see what I got in the flammables cabinet that we can dump in there and try to get rid of some of that stuff, you know, because soaking it makes it all better, according to all the comments anyway. I really wanted to mix some ATF and acetone, I think there's somebody in the comments raves about it all the time, so I was going to dump that in there just to prove them wrong, but I don't have any acetone. I got lots of ATF, so we're going to put evapor rust in there, because that's what we're trying to get rid of is rust. So, and maybe some other type of corrosion around piston, you know, aluminum oxidization. Anywho, evapor rust it is. I'm going to throw that in there and let it do its thing overnight. Just let the little elves that are inside of evapor rust, the little evapo elves, go in there and just whittle away at all that rust. At least that's what I think they do. Right to the top. All right. See you guys and gals tomorrow.
The next day.
So the evapor rust has been soaking in this cylinder overnight. We're gonna vac that out of there. I took a wire wheel or wire brush, cleaned out this piston. It's got a 4 and an S on it. Hopefully the S just stands for standard. Like I said, there's really not much of a ring ridge. It's got 100,000 miles on it, so who knows? Let's suck that out of there and see how the old evaporust did. The problem with soaking these cylinders is, see how it only gets the bottom part, which is where the corrosion would usually be. But I mean, there is a lot of rust and scale on the top part here as well. So that's no bueno. So filling, you know, soaking these up, it only gets bottom of the piston. And usually when I fill a cylinder up with fluid, it runs right past the ring. So that's the other problem with soaking things. All right, let's get this sucked out and see what we got. Before we do anything, let's take our 3-stone bit here, whatever you call it, hone, and clean up that cylinder wall, because if it does move, we don't want all that rust screwing up our piston and rings any more than it already has. Now I think what we're going to do is just put a whole bunch of heat in there, spray down some lube, heat it again, spray down some lube. Hopefully those expansion and contraction cycles will free that piston up. That's the theory this week anyway. Hit it with a little Zeppelin. Probably don't want to breathe that stuff in. Might put hair on your chest. Who knows? Now's the hard part for me. Sitting and waiting. So instead of doing that, I might just go underneath and try wiggling her back and forth a little bit just to see what happens. So I've been heating on that piston, cooling it off with Croil, and then just straight up heating it, letting it cool down naturally, I guess, and then going underneath, putting a bar on the flywheel, flex plate, ring gear. Why can't I get that straight? And this thing will not budge. I took the test long, and cylinder number 2, it's got a little bit of crust in there, and I know everybody's gonna yell if I don't take that cylinder head off, so I'm kind of at the crossroads, either pulling the whole engine out, because really that's kind of all we're saving here, and I don't really need a Pontiac 350, a turbo 350, but I was thinking this AC unit package would be in the way, but I don't think it'll be too bad, so let's pull another cylinder head off. Why not? We got nothing to lose, except a bunch of our time. So we're gonna do it because we're that channel. Maybe we should make it into a shirt that says we're that channel. I don't know, we want to be that channel. So let's pull a valve cover off and manifold bolts and the head and all that good stuff. See if we can't get that head off. Well, of course we snapped off one and got one bolt to unthread from the manifold here. Fun fact, there was 0 hangers holding the entire exhaust system up on this car, so that kind of fell right into place. So we might have to give that the old yeah, and narrow it up a bit so we can not have to deal with that as we go up and down. Hopefully we don't have to go up and down a bunch more times, you know, just one more time to hook it up and put the starter on, and then we're gonna be a-okay. Don't worry, Greta, we're catching all of that coolant, other than the stuff where the floor dry is.
How dare you!
Yeah, that's right. Resorted to the floor dry because I was running out of t-shirts to mop this stuff up with. And you know, we don't let it go to the floor dry. It just makes it this crack and it stops. So we're doing her right. I hate floor dry, but pulling out all the stops in the old Lemans here. Man, I'm gonna have to go to the chiropractor lifting all these heads off lately. And of course, I drained the coolant this time. We still got some in the cylinders. So there's the one that I thought kind of looked bad. It doesn't look that bad, but you can see a little bit of rust down there in the cylinder walls. Number 4 looks beautiful. And then 6 and 8 were pretty much all the way right to the top. So nothing really got in there. So I don't know what the heck's holding us up here. We'll see if we can't clean these out. Maybe put a little heat to that number 2 cylinder, see if that gets us anywhere. Head wasn't too bad to pull off. I could actually get at this back bolt a lot better on this side than I could on that side. Still had to do quite a few with the breaker bar because of that AC box, but air compressor's kicking on, so time for me to kick it down. All right, here we go. Probably should have heated that other piston up too while we were at it, but we didn't. Come on, don't slip off now. Oh, for cheese and rice. Hey, we got a budge there, I think. There we go. Let's work her back and forth. A little sticky, but turns all right. Oh, it's pumping nasty fuel. Yuck. All right, so as it's turning over, we're pumping some really raunchy fuel out of the tank. So we should probably cut that fuel line so we can continue turning it over and not pump any more gas. And we'll try to contain such fluids so that they are disposed of properly and such. But anyway, we got this thing turning over. I mean, it only required soaking for 3 days and removing both heads and putting a bunch of heat in the numbers 2 and numbers 3 cylinders. So, and why 2 and 3, I don't know, because the firing order on these is 18, 43, 65, 72. Same as a small block. So one must have got condensation in through the intake and one through the exhaust. We don't really know. But let's put a starter on this thing so we can turn it over faster, and then we'll clean up those cylinders a little bit better since we have great access to them. You know, we're gonna do this all right. Like, totally not reuse the old head gaskets, but I can breathe a sigh of relief because we got this thing finally turning over. The old lemon is finally coming around. We're gonna make some lemonade. We might have to get some vodka to celebrate that. So I'm gonna stick a starter on it while we're under here and maybe even hook up the wires, and we'll get this thing zinging over faster and clean her up. Clean up some heads and clean up some used head gaskets and all that stuff. All my favorite things. Yes. Can't wait. This thing better frickin' rip is all I got to say. Oh yeah, we gotta unhook that fuel line. Got our loser switch hooked up, starter installed with all 3 ginormous thickness of shimmage. We got Dave's Not Here Man as our battery sponsor this week. We got the negative cable hooked up to the full-on head bolt, because that's what we do around here. Should be no smoke because there's nothing hooked up. I didn't hook up the other wire to the starter that powers everything in the car, so really all it should power up is the starter. Here goes nothing. Ooh, squeaky. See how it like comes to a complete stop like immediately as you let off? Should we see which one's chirping? I bet it's that one. Let's get her stopped all the way at the bottom and clean her up a little bit with the Stonehenge. The Stonehenge. Stonehenge? Rolling Stones? Emma Stone. Blackstone. That's the word I was looking for. Just kidding. Conveniently, number 2 is all the way at the bottom almost. So we're gonna clean that one up. Now see if the old squeaky squeak's gone. It's probably not. Look at that! The squeaky wheel gets the grease. I know it's no dingle ball, but it's as close as we're gonna get to a dingle ball rebuild around here. This week anyway. So here's that number 2 cylinder. You can see that, I don't know, some rust, some pitting. Pretty sure I can snag that. Oh yeah. Well, you can't quite catch it with your fingernail. Oh yeah, you can. It's not terrible, but this thing needs to be bored. I mean, 10 over might do it, but I would probably go 30 over. So we're not, yeah, we're not in the clear yet. This thing's gonna be an oil burner, and I'm sure the rings are stuck in the pistons on both of those because, I mean, we just basically freed up the rings and or piston from the cylinder walls. We didn't free up the rings from the piston, so. She's gonna burn a little oil on numbers 2 and 3, 2 and 3, 2 and 3, 2 and 3, yeah, 2 and 3. Front one over there, second one over here. Okay, I'm gonna clean up the valves, maybe take a little wire wheel action to them. Freaking Mojo used the wire wheel right up to nothing. I don't even know how much of this cleaning we're gonna do, about that much. Maybe a little bit more on these two. And we're gonna straighten out the one head gasket because I don't know if it hooked on something when I was taking it out, or we decided to just run it over with the forklift, or what happened there. But I'm gonna clean those two up. We're gonna slam this thing back together. And we're gonna have ourselves a Pontiac that runs. Maybe. We'll see. We'll have ourselves a Pontiac that turns over and is semi-complete anyway. Yeah. And then I'm gonna rev this thing to like 7,500 RPMs, maybe 77, and then neutral. And then I'm just gonna dump her in low. And we're just gonna one wheel peel it. This thing better have some freaking power. We might have to weld the diff up in it. It's got them mud and snows back there, so she's gonna really dig. And with all this weight loss up front from, you know, somebody prepping it for derby and not having a hood, this thing will probably pull a wheelie, especially with the neutral drop and highway gears and one wheel peel in the mud and snows. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Can't wait. Get her head gasket in a can installed. Can't get her heads installed. You know, these would be a lot lighter without the exhaust manifolds. But yep, we definitely forgot to take that stud out too while we're at it. Oh well. This should be fun. Without chewing apart nice new head gaskets. I should start selling rebuilt head gaskets on the interwebs. That would go over real well. There. Get a couple of bolts started. No. Now we're going to torque all these down properly. I forget what the setting is. Click, click. You know the drill. I like to give them just a little bit extra with these rebuilt cylinder head gaskets, you know, because it takes all you can give it. All right, let's do the other side once I catch my breath. I feel like we had more room when we took this off. Sorry, Mr. Power steering pump. All right, he's not here, man. Is gonna have to relocate for the time being. Should we take that bolt off while we can get at it? I suppose. Tech tip of the day: always put your proper length head bolts in the right location. Tech tip number 2: don't drop them. put our push rods in, and technically you should probably clean these up before putting them in, but we're not very technical around here, right? Maybe blow the crud out of them. That'd be a wise decision. Heads are back on. I'm contemplating cleaning out that valley pan. I'm sure some guys are just screaming to clean this up, but yeah, you know, we don't want this thing to be, you know, too nice, because then people are going to think it's worth money. You got to keep them on their toes. I did clean up that gasket mating surface. I wish I had some new gaskets, because that intake gasket's real crispy, and I don't want to take them off and have to clean them up. So I think we're just gonna shmoo a little right stuff on there. And then I called our Pontiac expert Uncle Terry.
What you doing, Terry?
And he couldn't remember what this is, but I think it's just a big rubber bushing that goes in there, and that seats up against the back of the water pump. And then there's this bolt here that sucks it up. So maybe we'll clean that up a little bit, and we'll shmoo some goo on there, you know, do her up right. At least we use the black stuff, not that ugly high temperature orange or red stuff that guys put. God, that stuff drives me nuts when you see that stuff seeping out somebody's valve cover or water pump. Ugh. That's right. That's probably worse than flexi hoses. Flexi hoses at least serve a function. That red silicone stuff is just grinds my gears.
You know what really grinds my gears?
So I think we're just gonna do some schmooing and set that thing on there, and we should be good. Everything's good. Intake's on. Our shmoo hopefully does what we need it to do. You know, shmoo things. Now, yeah, I don't think we're gonna put the accessories on until we make sure it runs, because no point in having power steering if it doesn't run, or an alternator or a water pump. So I think hook up the throttle linkage. Maybe we don't even need that. We gotta figure out our firing order. But I think what we're really gonna do is do a compression check on this thing. We're not very good about doing that before they run. And I mean, this thing's gonna run, so we might as well do that. The other neat thing about these is when you're adjusting the push rods or adjusting the rockers, whatever you wanna call it, you don't have to adjust these. You just suck them all down. There's no adjustment like a small block Chevy, so. Well done, Pontiac. That is pretty neat.
That's pretty neat.
All right, I'm gonna go have a bite to eat, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna check some compressions. We're gonna get a power steering pump that's now identifying as a battery out of the way. Oh, and we gotta hook up the loser switch. Perfect. Oh, we gotta hook up the battery cable too. We might as well just hook up the starter wires while we're underneath there. Yeah, let's do that too. Let's hook up our battery cable. Hope for no smoke. It is wired up to the car now. Hey, turns over the key. So I'm guessing that means it should turn over the loser switch if I hook that up right. Turns over, that's good. And it's got a little compression coming out. Saw a little rust shoot out a couple of those. Let's see what we got. We're gonna do this test dry, aka no oil in the cylinders. Pull our carburetor wide open. Looks like about 75 PSI on cylinder number 1. Not terrible, not good. I will give it to Pontiac. They have very accessible spark plugs. Or spark plug holes. I mean, kind of the one and the same, isn't it? If you got the hole, that's where the spark plug's gonna be. My thumbs would work for me. Yeah, I know, Duff. You don't have any thumbs, so I won't complain too much. All right, cylinder number 2. Hold our carburetor up. Oh, never mind. It's just going to stick open. Perfect. Who would have guessed? 0. And both the intake and the exhaust are open. Big fat 0. I'm guessing that's mainly due to some stuck rings. I'm sure if we put some oil in that cylinder. That's the difference between a wet and a dry test, is you put oil in the cylinders. And then some people say cold versus warm. Does it really matter? Probably. Oh, for cheese and rice. Don't you know where your home is? Where's your home?
Why didn't you just go home? That's your home! Are you too good for your home? Answer me!
Alright. Finally, got it threaded in number 3. Throttle's stuck at WFO. Here we go. And 40 PSI. Yowza. Oh, no. 3 is 0. And 5 is 40. What is making that noise over there? I'm tempted to just make a number up for number 7. You cannot. This dang steering shaft. We're gonna take a break from old number 7. She don't want to work with us real well, so I'm just gonna sit there and think about what she's done. Move over here to the 2-hole. The 2-hole is always willing. Here we go. And nothing on number 2. Who would have guessed? The 2 stuck cylinders are the 2 very unhappy cylinders. Oh boy, 20 on number 4. Let's see what we got with 6. Oh yeah. 60 PSIs. Come on, let's get like 100 on number 8. Okay, come on, 100 on 8. 55. Sammy Hagar, can't drive. 55. We'll go give number 7 one more try. Look at that. Let's give it some time to think about what it did. Threads right in. Maybe. Sure feels good. Feels like a nice tight hole. All right, let's see if we got some spark now. Before we put some spark plugs in. Guess we're gonna have to do the old Mortske flick. Here goes nothing. Okay. Couple of Mortske flicks. Hopefully that brings her back to life. There we go. Well, we swapped battery sponsors this week. We're on to Cooper. That freaking Dave's not here, man. Just ain't cutting it. Hopefully this cranks her over a little bit faster. We should have spark. I got our boat tank hooked up to our fuel pump, and I squeezed that until we got fuel coming out of the carburetor. So, I mean, This thing's just gonna light right off, even though it has less than subpar compression. There you go, hook up that throttle cable. She's gonna be good to go. Plugged off a couple of vacuum ports because, you know, it's gonna run so smooth we don't want vacuum leaks. Good news is we're getting some oil up to these rockers, so it's got oil pressure. All right, I'm gonna light this thing off. Duff's gonna sit back there awaiting this thing's breathing of fire again anxiously. Aren't you? Yeah. Pretty unemotional today, aren't you? I did not hook up the exhaust, so there will be no exhaust cam this week. Sorry. We're pretty deep in labor in this thing already, so I'm not gonna put the exhaust on and set up a camera. I know, sue me. All right, here we go. Accelerator pump working? Oh yeah, here we go. Slingshot engaged.
Slingshot engaged.
You old negative cable. Get a little warm down here. Well, what do we need? More gas? I put the timing right where it was. I never screwed with it. I laid the plug wires back out the exact same way we took them off, so provided they were on correctly before. The firing order is right, but the timing may be off. Let's check, see if we got sparkage. Oh yeah, we got the sparkage going. Come on. I don't know what it wants. I feel like it doesn't want more gas, but that's what it's getting. We're getting some blow by coming through the valleys and such. I don't know what the deal is. I mean, we know the deal is that it doesn't have crap for compression, so let's just go straight for 24 volts. Or maybe we'll hook up the battery pack first, booster pack. Yeah, good idea. Oh, Coop here needs all the help he can get. And don't worry, I'm gonna take that ground power off the ground because I'm not very intelligent sometimes. Okay, hot sauce. Don't be tipping over. Now let's see if she spins over any faster. Probably not. Booster pack's charged. Ooh, that'll make you check your drawers. Maybe our timing's off. We can't really check the harmonic balancer because we twisted that off. And there is some mismatched plug wires, and I found several plug wires that were chewed off. So yeah, maybe that's where they were at with this whole derby thing. Either they found out it was locked up or they couldn't get it to run. And so they were playing with plug wires, who knows? So maybe we should check where, number one, so you shaking? Did that scare you a bit? Did that scare you? Give her some more gas. Yeah, let's figure out where top dead center is at for number one and make sure everything's pointing where it needs to be. Oh, she's way off. All right, let's move some wires out. I think it's like 180 off. So somebody was playing with this maybe. Definitely on the compression stroke. No wonder we didn't get much action. Story of my life, not much action. All right. Plug wires back on. Here goes nothing. I'm sure she's plenty loaded up now. Slingshot engage. kinds of spark. I'm sure those plugs are just super wet now. That one was very wet. Now what's going on? Maybe we'll take the spark. Oh my gosh. What do we got? Where's the bolt for the distributor? We're going to take the distributor loose. Try playing with the advance. If somebody hasn't already. Ah! The distributor turns backwards according to the Google box. Turns counterclockwise. So, start all over again. Aren't old cars fun? 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5, 7, and number 2. Okay. Well, that didn't take very long. Third time's a charm. Here we go. Slingshot, engage. All right, checking for spark again, even though I'm sure we got it. All kinds of spark. Trying. Come on, baby. A lot of smoke rolling off the starter. More gas? Be strong, little starter. Be strong. I'm gonna pull a plug out. I'm betting that they are just absolutely soaked. Yes. Yes, very soaked. Little spark plug dryer in a can here. That is a lot of fuel or oil. I did spray some Croil down the cylinders where we started, hoping to boost compression, but I think all it did was get our spark plugs wet. Axel, what are you for Halloween? Are you my little grunt? Oh, the telehandler, it's our favorite. Did you bring candy? Pizza for the kids. Pizza for the kids? What are you doing? Let's see your shirt. Sweet, what's that say?
Right there, the tree.
It says you work here?
Yeah, I know I did.
You work here?
Yeah, I'm right there, the tree.
You're going trick-or-treating?
Yeah.
So am I supposed to give you candy?
Can I have a ring candy?
Oh, you want some candy too? You didn't dress up though. What are you? You're the mini boss. Nope, you gotta leave that one open. First thing you go for. Duff! Quit licking Kendall. Duff, hey. Oh, I'm never gonna get anything done on this Pontiac with you goons here. Duff's gonna get some pizza. All right, we'll be back in a bit, I guess. Pookie's here, mango tangoing it up, so.
Mango tango.
Mango tango! Kendall, stop eating the screws.
Best.
She gets that from her mom.
Yeah.
Hey, you're on the job. Come over here and help. Okay, took this wire right to there. Hook the roach clip up. Okay, put that on there. No, you gotta put that right there. Whoop. Okay. Now push this. Oh, you don't want to do that anymore?
No.
No. Okay, push this button. You gotta put your juice. No, well, you gotta manhandle it. Ready?
Okay.
Let's give this some hot sauce.
I need some hot.
All right, here we go. Why was it firing second? I don't know. It's not. Be strong, little starter. Coming off the starter. It's like right there. That's all starter.
That's good.
Because there was a bunch of gas and it sparked, and that's why there's a fireball. Can't believe that's all starter smoke.
It's good. That's what you want. That's really what you're looking for.
Maybe let's take a break for a little while.
I like it.
How do my eyebrows look?
You look
Where they were.
yeah, whatever.
Look at this. This cable is like mush. Oh, we got rid of Pookie and his hoodlums, so let's see if we can get this thing to actually stay running. Duff's peacing out because he doesn't have much faith, but we're really close. I think we get that timing dialed in and she's gonna go. Maybe it's not timing. We could get the compression just, if there was like a, you know, a compression adjustment, we just turn that up a bit. I think it would go for sure. But we're close. The starter, she's warm. There was some grease and stuff on fire underneath there. That was the smoke and a little bit the starter, but the starter's hanging in there. She's a good one. All right, slingshot engage. Oh yeah, the loser switch wire came off down there. I don't know how it was staying on. Here we go. Take two. Well, either that starter is on its way out, we got a bad connection, or our battery is pretty dead. So let's swap in another one. You know what? We're pulling out all the stops. We're going 24 volts. Enough of these small fries. Just gotta figure out how to do it without blowing anything up. So give me a second here. See what happens with 24 volts, just the starter. Oh yeah, she's angry, but she's turning fast. So we gotta hook this up 12 volts. All right, here we go. You're fine, starter. All right, gotta play with the timing some more. Maybe a little bit more. Oh boy, starter's smoking already. You're fine. Too much? That is a good starter. That is all off the starter, kids. Yeah. She's so close. You can just, that's all grease sizzling off that starter. Okay. Let's take a break here. Let's find top dead center, number 1, and play with our distributor. Get it real close anyway. That's gonna be fun to do now because we can't just tap it over real easy with 24 volts. We should just go get one of them lifetime warranty starters. Hook her up to 24 volts and see if they'll warranty it for us several times before they catch on. Now we should just be hooked up 12 volts. Okay, it should be just past number 1. And it goes counterclockwise. Okay, good sign. We're off, I think. I mean, in general, we're just off, but I was trying to make a joke there, sorry. We're gonna move everything over 1 wire. So she goes counterclockwise, and we're just about at it right now. So, that's what we're gonna do. Play musical spark plug wires. And she's gonna just come to life. Right? Right, Lemon? I'm pretty sure that's French for breathe fire. Okay. 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5, 7, 2. All right, slingshot, engage. Oh yeah. Well, there you have it, kids. She breathes fire, and it don't sound too bad. It doesn't sound good either, but it is what it is. Let's get some valve covers on it so we stop spraying oil all over when we're revving her to 4,000, 5,000, 7,000 RPMs. Timing seems like it's off, but it doesn't run too awful bad. It's a shame we put the starter through all of that when it was timing the whole time. But yeah, let's get the top end buttoned up. Let's get some water in it. And yeah, let's do some things. It's dark out, so let's get her buttoned up. Not gonna go for a ride tonight. You get the power steering pump back on it, alternator, fan belts, all that good stuff. So let's get that back on there and maybe even have a celebratory sandwich. Yeah, this thing's gonna be good. Finally, this thing has just fought us the entire way. Stuck cylinders, timing being off, plug wires being mixed up. Good times. Broken harmonic balancer. I think that's still turning, so hopefully that turns our power steering and water pump, even though the key weighs wasted. Sweet! Got her up in the air. We put the inspection cover back over the torque converter and flex plate. That's like the first one that we've ever put back on. I got a stack of those things just floating around this place because we never put them back on. Also, we got the pulley back on so we can run our water pump and our alternator. So that'll be good. Got our exhaust hooked up. Of course, one bolt on each side. And look at this. We even took a little Mechanics wire and got the exhaust held in place. That ain't going nowhere. Now we just got to figure out brakes and where to put our fuel tank and hook up our belts and put some coolant back in it. You know we're using that used nasty stuff that's in that bucket. And we'll even make up for some of the stuff that we spilled on the floor. So pretty much we just have everything left and then we're good to go. Look at this though. I didn't put any of the spark plug wire holders back on. And we got a couple of broken exhaust bolts. And other than that, we just got a couple 3/8 nuts and a couple 5/16 nuts and a 1/4 inch nut and some washers. So we didn't even have that much for extra parts. What a deal. Really, changing our ways. Also, we didn't put the AC bracket on and that exhaust shield because, you know, we don't need those where we're going. So let's get this thing on the ground and get a fuel tank in there and, you know, all the other stuff. Because Duff is chomping at the bit to go for a ride, ain't you, pal? Oh, yeah. He's like, about time. Oh, big stretch. All right, let's get this done. Got her back on the ground. Got our accessories all hooked up. We can put an air cleaner back on. I don't know that we're going to put a hood on, partially because we don't have any help, and it's been a while since we drove one without the hood on it. Let's pop that master cylinder cover off, see what's going on there. Got our fuel hooked up. I used one of the knockouts in the floor. Oh my gosh, there's brake fluid in one reservoir. Put some in the other, and maybe we'll have brakes. Power steering's full, coolant's topped off. We're gonna have to check the tranny. Hopefully that works. Yeah, then we're gonna be about ready to rip. So I'm gonna put some brake fluid in here and we'll see where that goes. Hopefully not onto the floor. All right, brake fluid's topped off. Let's see if this thing will start today for us. I mean, I've seen crazier things happen. Here we go. Suppose we could have one of the head gaskets that's weeping and fill the cylinder with coolant. That'd be great. Ha 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 ha! Didn't have to pump it or nothing. Can you believe that? Whatever. Just a couple of days ago, this thing was locked up. And with 2 bolts holding the exhaust on, and a couple of loops of mechanics wire. It's running pretty good. She does have some excessive blow-by, but who would have thought? We'll fix that. Don't worry, Greta. Not going to atmosphere. There we go. We'll reburn all those hydrocarbons. I cannot believe that. Didn't pump it or spray any hot sauce or nothing in there. So good. Let's see if we got brakes and a transmission. See if our shift linkage works. If our key works. All that good stuff. See, I told you. I took the floor clean out. Put the fuel tank in there. And guess who comes trotting along thinking we're going to go for an RIDE? I mean, have at it, pal. You're the guest of honor. Lord Duff. Fine. I'll do it. What is this? They were going to go like full race car with it and cut the skin off? Or did somebody do that replacing a window regulator at one time. We may never know. This thing was gonna be a race car of sorts, I have a feeling. Whether it was a derby car or a roundy round car, I don't know. Race car things. We haven't really checked the inside of this out, have we? AM radio, 3-speed, D, S, and L. DSL, that's analogy, what analogy? Acronym for something else. Padded dash. Duff, check the glove box. Come on, hey, hold on. Hold on, just take a break. What's in there? Check it out, anything good? No, but the light works in there. A little bit of mouse house going on. Let's close that up. All right, let's see if the ignition works. Gen light works. Does it charge? Of course it does. Bits Tire and Service Incorporated in Valley City was probably who serviced it last. Unfortunately, you cannot read the date. I'll just put that back. Runs pretty good. We're not even adjusting the timing at all, which reminds me that is loose, and we might have to play with that a bit. All right, let's see if the tranny works and the brakes. Should we go forward and run into that 63 everybody's asking about, or go backwards and run into the door? We can replace the door. Can't replace a 63, so. Oh, I got issues. Brake light comes on. No reverse. Oh, she's real slow. She's probably just low. I'm gonna top off the transmission. You just hang out here, okay? Oh, you want me to open the door? Want some hydrocarbons out? Yeah, I can do that too. What is that? Power steering works even? Oh, what a deal! Yeah, let's oh, guess we should hook the exhaust cam up. There was a lot of mouse house going on in that single tailpipe. Icky. Oh, Fievel. She chooches a bit too. Transmission's topped off. We had a small leak. I thought it was gonna be coolant, but turns out that return hose for the fuel tank I had plugged off. There was a little cut in it, so we shortened it up, plugged it up. Everything's good now. Tranny's topped off. So I think I'm gonna put the hood on it because this engine is so good. You know, we can't just have this thing sitting outside with the hood off it, you know, getting this engine all stuck again. So I'm gonna do that, and then we'll round up Duff. He's outside chasing critters right now. Probably the ones that ran under the tailpipe. And then we're gonna go for a rip in this thing. Final! Oh, also, brakes are, they're there, but they're not good. First thing you're gonna wanna do when you're putting a hood on by yourself is get all the hardware set out in a tightening device, set to tighten. Because, you know, you don't wanna get it all set in place and then be like, oh, the hardware's over here. Or the wrench is there. Or the wrench is not set to fast forward. So we're on the ball here. This is gonna go swimmingly, and I should probably set up an appointment to go to the chiropractor on Monday. Sure wish my assistant had some phones. Ooh, I got an idea. The Tiffany, the old safety stick. You're not gonna want to do this. Put a nice pan. Stick out. Oh yeah. Look at this. Look at this. You look at it? Just look at it.
Right, because he had to look at it first.
It's like we know what we're doing here. Probably should have put some lube on this first. Oh! Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Maybe that's what we should name this thing. Yeah, it's gonna be so easy. But does it latch? Oh, okay, let's move up the hinges first. So that was a waste because there's no latch on here. How are we gonna fix that? Hood pins, race car life. Even more expensive than hood pins, 11R locking pliers. That ain't going nowhere. These are way better than hood pins. I mean, they're multi-use. You can do other things with them too. No, you just got to put some cables on them so that you don't lose them, so they just kind of dangle there. All right, enough shenanigans. Let's go for a road trip. All right, Duff, let's finally do this. Come on, start for us now. Battery's getting a little weak. All right. Let's see what this poncho can do. Yeah. We got reverse, we got some brakes, we got some smoke, we got some exhaust. This is probably the best exhaust we've had in quite a while. It's not saying much. Do a little hot lap around the yard. Ooh, that power steering is good. Power brakes ain't bad either. Doing a little remodeling in the yard here, so not a lot of room to whip donuts. We got a contractor's semi-trailer. We may have picked up a couple of new vehicles. We may have moved a couple of old vehicles around. We're still gonna try. Hang on, buddy. Oh, man. This thing comes around right now. Short wheelbase. Let's take her down the road. How much gas we got? Let me shake the jug here. Ooh, not much. This might be a good budget-friendly cruiser for somebody. It just needs like everything. If you had a really, really, really rusty donor car with like all the trim and stuff, this thing would be freaking sweet for you. You know, if you had nice interior. Like I said, you could go without the trim actually. Probably need the taillights and the headlight surrounds. This thing drives pretty good. What do you think, Duff? Our new hunter rig? Oh yeah, we need a back window. We could get that pole barn garage guy. He could stick a back window in for us. That guy could put a window in anything. Go check out his channel. He's got the Holy Goat and the Rolled Runner. Yeah. He makes something out of nothing. He takes worse cars than this and like legitly drives them. Does the horn work? No horn. We got no mirrors, so I mean pretty much race car things. You don't need to know what's going on back there. Speedo works. We're doing about 35. That's good cruising speed. I don't know that we've done many cars without a rear window lately, but the dust is absolutely terrible coming in through the back there. Not good. The brakes really aren't that bad either. No, probably wouldn't take a ton to get this thing back on the road. Probably gonna want to get some mirrors and probably get a windshield too while you're at it. It's kind of got a big crack. Not in a bad spot, but it's pretty ugly. There's a few guys still combining, but field work's pretty much done for the year. There's a couple guys out doing, like I said, field work, dirt work. But the harvesting is pretty much over. There's a few stragglers out there. Let's give her the old meat and potatoes. See what she'll do. She kind of got a little chug in there. Chug along, chug along. The faster you go, the more dust that comes in the back window. We're doing about the speed limit on the gravel, which is 55. Oh, and then it just shifted into third. Yeah, it's definitely got 308s. Oh my gosh, just rolling in the back. You know,
I was too legit to quit.
A lot of rattles, though. Hoofed up. See how she takes the railroad tracks. These are good ones. Woo! A lot of stuff flying around back there. I don't know. We might have to do more Pontiacs. Now that we're experts, seems how we've been balls deep in a 350. I wonder if she'll do a brake stand on asphalt. Well, one way to find out, right, Duff? Find some asphalt. Watch it die right on the asphalt. That's usually how things go. Here goes nothing. It'll do it. Oh, I forgot we got those high traction muds and snows back there. Come on, shift now. There we go. I kind of just wanted to hook up and go. You even smell the rubber. That's the beauty of no back window. All that tire smoke just comes right in the cabin, right, Duff? Yeah. I even saved the tailpipe door in the back seat for the future owner. Yeah, that's right. I said future owner. We're probably not keeping this one. Well, good burnout, good donuts. Let's just take her home and wrap this up. I imagine with all the in-depth analogies that we did on this engine this week, this video is probably getting a little long. Long in the tooth. Is that what they say, Duff? I don't know. It's big at home. Hopefully somebody else can own this June. Brakes even from highway speed aren't bad. Okay, Duff, one more donut. Just for you. Mojo's not gonna be happy when he comes back to work tomorrow and has to clean that up. Job security, right? So good. What do you think of Pontiacs? All right. Little door handle. Well, there you have it. We got a 1970 Pontiac Lemans back on the road for the first time in at least 15 years. We had a stuck engine to deal with. We had just a stuck engine deal with 2 stuck cylinders. We tore this thing apart. We had 2 heads off. Got this thing running, and it runs surprisingly well, so never mind all that smoke coming out of there. Talk about the world's best starter. That starter, that is the real champ right here. I mean, other than Duff. So hope everybody's having a real happy Halloween, because that's what the day that this video is going to drop. Duff and I got a little daylight, so we're gonna maybe see if we can't chase us up a rooster, maybe partake in some Halloween activities. So if you think you need a 1970 Pontiac Lemans 4-door hardtop sport with a 350 and an automatic in your fleet, it's a project. But you knew this if you're watching at this point. Hit us up. Price and availability in the description down there below. Send us an email, mortskerepair@gmail.com. Check out the merchandise. Check out the other videos. Leave a comment down below telling us what you're going to be for Halloween. Hopefully you're just going to be handing out candy. Or you could be tipping back sandwiches at home. Whatever. I think that's what we're going to do. Oh, no, there's a parade. We're going to go get one of the cars out and put in a parade on Monday night. That hasn't been out yet all year. So, thank you very much for watching. Remember, doesn't matter how you get it done, as long as you're having fun. This whole process was not any fun, but the last 15 minutes of driving it was. Hey, finding any birds in there? No? All right, I'm gonna wrap this video. Oh, hey, look, duck boat on the top, topper, guaranteed from Wisconsin or Minnesota. They're thick this season.